Hi everyone. We will now talk about the other method, which is using BlazeMeter. For BlazeMeter, you need two things. First, not Firefox, Chrome. You need Chrome, and you need to install this extension, BlazeMeter by Perforce. I'll add it to my Chrome, and also you need to create an account on BlazeMeter and sign in. Okay. Now I have enabled the extension, and what I'll do, I'll open a tab. I'll go to this BlazeMeter extension. I will name the script something like, okay, and I'll hit record. I'll enter the username, enter the password. We'll do a login. After the login, we'll stop. And once we have stopped, we'll save JMX only, Jmeter. You need to check all the URLs. Sometimes your flow might include two, three different domains. Like when you are using a SSO sign-in, you may get redirected to IDP. So number of URLs might differ in your case for some other web servers. We'll save it. Now the JMX profile has been downloaded, and we will open this JMX profile in Jmeter. We'll go open, and it is inside downloads. The location. Let me just copy it to some other part. Copy. I'll paste it to document. We will open this JMX profile and see. Now we'll try to understand what exactly it has added. So first it has added some config elements. These all are config elements. First one is header manager. Whatever we define here before the thread group. You see, first we have a test plan. Test plan name is vulnerable. And after that we have defined the config elements, and then our thread group is starting. Thread group is containing a test element. It's a transaction controller basically. And we have two URLs. First one is going to the, okay, let me start it from beginning. Header manager. This header manager will be applicable to all the requests inside the thread group. This is like a template which will be used for all the requests. Now there are some user defined variables. We have created a variable, not we, BlazeMeter has created a variable base URL one, and this variable is holding a value of test php vulnerable.com. Similarly, you can define different variables which are being used extensively in your thread group. Let's say if one URL is being used in all the requests, and that URL is large, so instead of using that URL again and again, we can define certain variables. Just like in programming, we define global variables which are getting reused again and again. Request defaults. Request default is if we want, we can let's say there are multiple requests and we want some setting for all those requests. So instead of going one by one to all the requests, we can define here. By default, implementation is used HTTP client for. By if it's selected nothing, it's default using HTTP client for. Java we won't be using for now. Cache manager, authorization manager, cookie manager. Cookie manager will take care of cookie handling automatically, just like the browser does. Hash manager. So it adds all the config elements. Then in thread group, we are doing a get request to base URL one. In Jmeter, we defined a variable base URL one here. You see, and the name of the variable is base URL one. And to call that variable, this is the syntax. We'll put a dollar, then curly braces, and inside this the variable name. So we are doing a get request. It would be having some constant timer. Okay, it captures the delay which is happening on the browser. So if we can adjust the timer, like how much time it will take to finish this request. We can control all those things. Next one is we are going to base URL one with the HTTP post request, username test, password test, and some header that it has added. See, delay is like 6227 millisecond. It will take those delay. I don't need any kind of delay. Sometimes in your website you might need to add some delay, so you can always add it. Right now we don't need it, so I'll remove it. And to check whether the requests are successful or not, we will add a view result tree, and then we will play it. It spawned one thread is running. Took 8 seconds. Now, this is request body. We did a get request to this URL. These are the request header, connection, accept, and the host. In the response body is a login page. You can check for the username field. See, username. And the response header, these are the response header. Second request is doing a post request to userconfig.php. Request header are these fields. Response data, response body is the page which will come after the login, and the response headers cookie. And there is one more thing, we can see the outputs in different forms, like response data, response body. If you want to see in XML form, it will create XML like HTML head, metadata. If you want to see just like in the browser, you will go to HTML, download the resources. If you click it, it will render the page, render the HTML page just like browser does. It it has gotten stuck. See, this is a page, but mainly we use the text file. We don't wanna render the HTML pages inside Jmeter. Okay, so in summary, what we learned in previous section, we learned about the test script recorder to capture the HTTP request and responses and create a profile automatically. And in this video, we used BlazeMeter. And there are some pros and cons of both the methods, but I prefer BlazeMeter than TSR. BlazeMeter because it's more convenient and clean than the proxy recording. You see, it added all the headers and it created a thread group. It created a test transaction controller, and inside that, it has added all the requests. And also, it has defined certain variables, user defined variables for multiple requests. So, I would say when you are creating a complex profile, you use BlazeMeter instead of test script recorder and import the profile and make the changes accordingly. And one more point to note, here you see um, in this case, we are using only two fields, username and password. There might be chances, these are static values as of now. There might be chances in some token based authorization, some SAML based authorization, there might be certain fields which gets populated on the runtime, which will be having dynamic values and they will differ in every run. Because right now, if I replay this profile, it will work all the time because this username will remain test and password will remain test every time. But let's say if it was using certain token, access token, and every time you are trying to access the website, you are getting a different access token. In such cases, we need to handle the dynamic values. We will learn about the dynamic values, how to handle it later on the course. But to get a gist of it, um, in in any request, in the response body for against any request will contain certain data which will be reused on the next request. So for that cases, we will use some regex and such tools to get the access tokens. But that is things for later. Right now, for static web applications where there won't be any dynamic fields, this is easy method to capture the profile and replay it again and again. Thank you.